Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Darksage Walker, and I have to admit that I'm a little embarrassed that I lost with this run. A lot of you right now going, wow, how could you lose with a run like that? That looks like it's right up your alley. I'll tell you how I could lose with a run like this, because I disregarded one of the most important elements of a run, of any run. And that is a fundamental rule of a game like this, which is don't go charging headfirst into large groups of enemies. And the whole idea behind it was I was trying to dash past enemies so I could catch them with Razor Burst. Well, now that I've come to grips with my own mistake, why don't we give this run another try? And here we go. Alright, well, back to piano. At least now I'm back on the randomization of the... Hold on, I just lost my brain. I gotta figure out where I put it. The randomization of the soundtrack. There we go. Sorry, I just blanked there like a complete numbskull. But alright, here we go. We're going to get back into this. We're going to do better this time. I thought about changing up Ignition Drive, but I rather like that spell. Another problem that I made is that I don't think I was using it properly, because it is a very good get-off-me option with multiple hits and one big hit at the end. Honestly, good stuff. Like this thing, this is a good build. I screwed up. And I don't want you thinking it was anything else. It wasn't like, oh, I was being so distracted by talking about gaming. You know, one of my favorite topics that I could talk about in my sleep. And sometimes do. I actually had a dream the other night where I was playing Guardian Legend, and I think it was either I was playing it or watching it on a YouTube channel. And I know the only YouTube channel that's featured Guardian Legend lately is the channel You Can Beat Video Games. And I sometimes go back to that video just to have something on in the background while I'm working on something else, because that is perhaps my favorite NES game of all time. Yes, that's even above things like Super Mario Bros. 3, which, yes, it is a masterpiece. Let's just get that out of the way now. You know, Legend of Zelda, masterpiece. Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, masterpieces. And maybe the exception to my favorite of all time rule. Dark Sage, you were lying! No, I was using hyperbole. Isn't that kind of like lying? I think you need to look up what a lie is. But regardless of how you feel about that, I suppose I'm going to be getting into the Guardian Legend now, since many of you probably have no idea what it is, and it seems like I have plenty of time to kill. Isn't that right, Nox? Yep, still waiting. So, the Guardian Legend is a very interesting sort of hybrid game. And back in the NES days, when you weren't sure how to create something really interesting out of what you had, you're not sure what parts to use or what to put together to make a genuinely interesting product, what you do is you mash up genres. And there were plenty of games out there that did that, like Magic of Scheherazade was a combination of a turn-based RPG and a top-down adventure game. Actually, that was kind of the favored one. There was a particular company called Culture Brain that made all sorts of games like that, but they were mostly combinations of top-down adventure and RPG. The Guardian Legend is one such game, but it is a combination of top-down adventure with vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. There we go. And it was fantastic and beautiful, and oh, I love that game so much. Because our signature is a projectile, we're going to try to start at the Living Courtyard. Come on. Wow, the game is being nothing but horse shit to me today. Seriously. There we go. Alright, now we're looking better. So, the whole point behind that isn't because I'm saying like, oh, we're about to start a new series, even though I'm really barely gotten started with the one that I'm currently doing. No, I'm just bringing up the point that I do sometimes actually dream gaming. You know, when I'm not dreaming about things like, oh, I don't know, riding a sled down a rainy hill. And yes, I have dreamed about that before. You know, let your dreams carry you to impossible places, and you'll always be having fun. Okay, let's grab this. Honestly, there's nothing here I really want. Like, I would like earth and water-based things, so I mean, yeah, Shattering Strike could work. I'm just not sure that's necessarily the earth-based spell that I want. And this being a critical hit-based run and all, do I really want something whose damage is entirely predicated on one big hit? 4, by the way. Alright, do we have anything good? Oh, hello. We have to have that. And Spice Rack is back. Alright, do I want Spice Rack? Probably. So, I guess what I'm getting at with this whole talk of the Guardian legend is you know, if you haven't been able to tell, there's lots of games that I absolutely love. And yeah, that does equate to sometimes I literally do eat, sleep, and dream gaming. Which some people would say, that's really unhealthy, you need to broaden your horizons. Oh, trust me, I have plenty of horizons broadened. It's just not necessarily do I always come across things that I care about. And I'm deeply interested in things like, you know, history and art, and especially music. But when it comes right down to it, gaming is something that I can do that for me has social implications, and is something that I do to, you know, challenge myself. And I'm sure there's many of you that would agree with me on that point. Oh, I was gonna grab Shattering Strike. Whoops. Okay, well, hopefully we find something here before we go on to battle the twins. Even if I don't, it's more important that I get myself prepped for level 3. I suppose, as such, being the sort of, you know, big old gaming nerd that I am, there are certain things that really irk me the wrong way when it comes to gaming and its subculture. And one of those things is the kind of gatekeeper-like attitude that some people have towards some of their favorite games. And this isn't the same thing as what I was talking about yesterday. Yesterday it was more of a discussion on the kind of on this weird crabs in a bucket mentality that people have about, you know, their favorite games and the review scores that they're getting, and oh, but shouldn't this game be better than this one because blah blah blah, meaningless reason drawn out of a hat. But I don't want to, you know, completely repeat myself. But all in all, that's kind of what we're talking about. And of course, that would be perfect to bring to Cremire, but my boy isn't around. So we'll just see if anything can be done with it. Ah, look at all these freebies. There we go. That's looking better. No, when I say gatekeeper mentality, I mean this mentality of no, you have to do it this way or it's wrong. You can't play the game like that. That's wrong. And this comes up a lot when you're talking about generally things like fighting games or like, you know, Souls games where it's like, oh, you use this tactic or that item to get past that boss. Well, that just shows how much of a loser you are. I did it with one hand strapped behind my back and the other one shoved up my nose while pinching a crab. Why can't you do it like I can? You must be awful. And, you know, if for some reason you think that that's how you endear yourself to the people around you, well, I got news for you. You're probably an awful person. And we're going to come across that when I get back to my Elden Ring recordings, because I have been leveling up Brigid and getting her to the point where I can finally handle Margit, the Fell Omen. Actually, I don't think he's called the Fell Omen, but... oh, maybe he is. Is it the Fell Omen, and then as Margot, he's the Omen King? I don't know. I think either I don't remember correctly, or I'm just, you know, conflating one thing with another. The issue that I'm talking about when it comes to Elden Ring is Elden Ring has a lot of things that are first for the Souls franchise. It's got summons. Ashes of War were introduced in Elden Ring. And there's a lot of people out there that think that if you are using those tools, then you're playing the game wrong. And that's just a ridiculous mentality. I don't understand why people think, oh, you can't beat the game at rune level 1 with fists only and no armor? God, you must be awful. No. The game is designed to be played however we want to play it. Even though there are things that many of us wish would be better in the game, like, you know, whips. That doesn't mean that just because people aren't playing the way that you think the game should be played, that they're awful. It means that they're having fun with the game the way that they want to have fun with it. Now, if someone is going into the multiplayer aspect of the game and cheating their ass off, yeah, then we might have a problem. I'm gonna grab this just so I have something to work the spice rack with. But otherwise, what does it matter to you how people are enjoying themselves in a single-player game? And it's a tool that the game gives you. There's no reason not to use it. Like, if you choose not to use summons to fight the bosses with, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, for the majority of my playthrough with my second character, I've been ignoring the summons to put myself to the test. But, and, you know, some of you may or may not believe this. Alright, I'm going to grab Razor Burst, and I might grab Rippling Rupture, because that's a good control spell. You know what? Yeah, I want it. But with this character, I'm not ashamed to say that I kind of want to just get past this first hump by conjuring a friend. And even though I have no issue with it, and I'm well aware that it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, the game flat out says you can do this. They give you the item, so why not? But there's a part of me even now, even giving this explanation, that's like, yeah, but people are going to think I'm a loser if I do that, that I'm not very good at the game when I've actually already completed this challenge. But Margit is a big enough difficulty spike at the beginning part of the game that I don't feel too bad about using that option. But it really sucks that someone out there wants you to feel bad for using it as an option. I definitely want to come back for either the turtle shell or the cloak. And I don't understand why it's such a negative option for people. Like, why are you not okay with people having fun with the game the way they want? I mean, let's just go ahead and look. Oh, hello. Let me not dash into a group of ruffians looking to gouge my eyes out with a pencil. Dark Sage, that's a sword. Yeah, sword, pencil, same thing. I guess it's sort of the same mentality as the people who say, oh, you're not a real fan of this or that, and then proceed to do really stupid things like quiz people on the things that they like, just to show off how superior of a fan they are. Because, you know, that's how you win friends, right? Is by randomly quizzing them on the things that they say that they're a fan of. Like, I can confidently say after playing Elden Ring that, yeah, I can consider myself a fan of the Souls series. Can I name all of the legendary enemies and bosses in Dark Souls 1 through 3? Give you a complete breakdown of their history, how they affect the lore, and what they had for breakfast that morning? Probably not, but someone out there probably can. And that person might even think that the people who can't do that are idiots and losers and failures and all sorts of other things that I'm clearly being just a little hyperbolic about. The point that I'm getting at is gatekeeping someone's fun just because you think that you have some sort of right to dictate how people enjoy themselves is just dumb. The summon issue, in particular in Elden Ring, is one that's been there because the Dark Souls veterans just really, for some reason, dislike the idea of someone new getting into their hobby because it's supposed to be like the game you wear when you put on your big boy pants, I guess. But, you know, if you want people to go back and try out the other games in the series, the best way to do that isn't by telling them that they suck. It's by, you know, saying, hey, I enjoyed this thing as well, and it's very similar. Why don't you give it a try and let me know what you think? Or, you know, if you want to be a real homie about it, you go, oh my gosh, you like Elden Ring? Hey, I have a copy of Dark Souls. Why don't I lend it to you? You can try it out. A lot of the conventions that you like in Elden Ring came from this series, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's not to say, oh, but the game isn't as hard and you had an easier time getting through it than I did when I played Dark Souls. Therefore, I'm better than you. And keep in mind, I'm not the person out there that goes around calling tryhards. Because I think that's a ridiculous insult. It's like, oh, you actually want to do well at this thing that you have passion and feeling for? Well, you're just an idiot then. Like, who the fuck are you? Who told him? Who died and made you king shit? Let me enjoy this thing that I enjoy, and you can go suck an egg. Besides, it's these people out there that are going out trying new things and coming up with new ideas that help shape the future of these things that we love so much. I mean, who knows? Maybe the first person to define a really good whip meta for Elden Ring's PvP is out there, and you're holding him back by saying that he sucks for not using the greatsword. Even though I just described someone who's clearly trying to do a dexterity or an arcane build using a strength item, and that would be ridiculous. But regardless, what I'm getting at is that there is no wrong way to enjoy a game. And that's kind of what I've been saying. That's kind of what I was saying pretty much straight up while I was doing the viewer appreciation series is, hey, there's builds that you guys are going to be really good with that are going to kick my ass. And the reason for that isn't because I'm worse or you're better at the game. It's because you found something that you like that works for you, but doesn't necessarily work for me. And actually, I kind of enjoy trying out builds that I suck with, because it gives me something to look forward to trying later. But I mean, I also know that many of my builds are builds that you guys can't use very well. And that's because we're looking for different things in builds. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't care what some halfwit on a forum board or on Twitter says when they, try to spark together their two brain cells to generate outrage. No, you have fun the way you have fun, and if other people are okay with it and want to try it out for themselves, hey, cool. But I mean, I don't expect people to just give up their opinion because I decided to spit some vitriol online. Likewise, don't expect me to alter myself just because you've decided that I'm the thing you have to make fun of. All right, things are getting a little rough. But it's not just in video games that sort of gatekeeper mentality comes up. You also see it a lot in, of all places, tabletop RPGs, and that seems like one place where those of us who are super nerds who get into deciding what fate has in store for us by rolling dice and, you know, pretending to be wizards, warriors, and whatever other class we feel suits our fancy, you know, that day or however long. You know, that seems like the last place we should be trying to be gatekeepers. Like, you would think that we would be wanting to try to, you know, get people to understand our point of view and come around to trying a game instead of brushing them off with, oh, you don't even know the best way. Here's the best way to min-max the damage of, you know, Borealis' freezing mist, Elden Ring reference, because I couldn't think of a D&D spell right off the top of my head other than Fireball. But insert interesting, convolutedly long name for a spell, and you've got it. Off the top of my head, I'm just going to say Delayed Blast Fireball, because I'm uncreative. Damn it, I keep forgetting which button I have Shock Assault map to. Okay, well, I guess the vendors have all gone on holiday. Not getting anything good here for... You know, I am going to take Glacial Cross. I like Aqua Breaker, but I think Glacial Cross is the better option because that can lay a status effect. And nothing here that's that great. But the health potion, that's always top tier. So I'm curious, where do you guys think this sort of gatekeeper mentality comes from? And does it even make sense to you? And like I said, you see it in more places than just video games. It's just video games happen to be the topic on my mind because of, you know, reasons. What does this do? Oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Like, it just... I find it to be disgusting behavior. Like, why are you trying to keep a hobby that we should all be trying to enjoy away from people because you feel somehow superior and entitled to it? Like, what sense does that even make? Isn't our hobbies are supposed to be out there for us to share with one another so that we can all get enjoyment out of it. And even though modern gaming has definitely taken a toll on us, every time I read the news about another unfinished game coming to market because shitty publishers and developers have embraced that release it now, fix it in post mentality. Like, I still look forward to a lot of new releases. None of us wake up in the morning going, ooh, I can't wait to see what's cracked today! No, we wake up and go, boy, I hope there's something really interesting on the horizon I can sink my teeth into. And then when it ends up just being the latest the latest iteration of the microtransaction machine, that's when we get upset. That was a bad decision. Oh, hello. We grab that, we grab that. I only have one cursed relic, but honestly, it's probably the best thing to grab. Just because it is going to raise my critical hit percentage by another 3%. Sorry, I'm also trying to, while talking about how much I hate gatekeeping, I'm also trying not to completely fail the run here. Okay, having my critical hit chance is not good for me. Frankly, none of these are good for me, so we'll just say bye-bye. Even though I would like to increase my critical hit percent chance a little bit more. I'm not going to do it at the cost of my damage or, my ability to actually do something on the stage that I'm playing. So, you say goodbye to that. Here we go. On that point, do you guys know anyone that engages in that sort of gatekeepery behavior? If so, maybe approach them and see if they need a hug. I get the feeling that they just haven't had a hug yet today. Or, ever. Like, maybe we need to change that. We're needing that. I think that's what we can safely drop now. I am not playing smart right now. Jesus Christ, I am doing poorly. Okay, gotta stop letting bosses break out of that. That's probably the biggest problem I'm having with entangling, or what is this? Rupturing something? Vine? Stick pointy plant? Oh, rippling rupture. I was close. Alright. Beautiful match. Oh hey, Curse Eater's Watch. Alright, so as we're about to redeem this build that I made for myself, I want you all to keep in mind that sometimes when people are acting all gatekeepery, it might be because they enjoy something, but that enjoyment shouldn't come at the cost of someone else potentially joining something else. Like, the reason why we take these things so seriously is because we enjoy them, but if we enjoy them, shouldn't we want other people to enjoy them as well and not act like we're somehow superior to them? How did I miss with a giant block of ice? Well, that embarrassing whiff aside, at least we redeemed the run. So, I want to, of course, thank you all for coming and spending some of your free time here with me today. I really do appreciate it. I will be doing another episode of Elden Ring later today, at least getting the recording done. And if any of you want to try to take the piss out of me for using summons to help make my time against Margit a little easier, well, you can go ahead and lick my big black ass, because I don't have time for that shit. That having been said, I have leveled up. My faith score is now 30. I can use the Cypher Pata, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, so we should be able to take down Morgott and get to the next spell that I'm really excited to get, which is Black Flame. I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to continuing to just play Wizard of Legend and talk to you guys about it. I do have another special week of theme runs coming up pretty soon, so you can look forward to that. And if you guys have any suggestions at all, bring them to me, and I am plenty happy to hear them. Even though I might have only won 3 of the viewer appreciation builds, but I do really enjoy seeing what it is that you guys like, and also learning about the idea that my aggressive playstyle is an anomaly, at least amongst the community that I've built. I mean, that was news to me, but it's news that I'm sort of interested in having, because it's telling me that I'm showing you guys a style of play that you're somewhat uncomfortable with, and that makes me kind of happy, I guess, in sort of a selfish way. So, I guess thank you for that. I do appreciate it very much. Um, as per usual, go through the YouTube 5 step. That would make my day, help my content get out to more people. I hope you're having a fantastic day or night wherever you might happen to be, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and take care, everybody.